I'm Paul.
And I'm Oumaer.
And welcome to Skip the Rulebook's Kickstarter preview. Today we'll be looking at UltimateTroll, our first game all the way from Australia.
In this game, you'll be putting on your best rubber troll mask and doing what trolls do best, hoarding treasure and digging holes. The aim is to amass the greatest haul of loot whilst protecting it from the grubby mitts of your troll competitors.
Just make sure to keep an eye out for sunrise. Let's skip the rulebook. The entirety of UltimateTroll is about managing your stockpile of loot, traps and minions known as runs. Trolls, however, not being the most sophisticated of creatures, protect their wealth by burying it underground.
Each player begins the game with 9 cards. These form your starting riches. You choose 3 of these cards to retain as your hand. The rest must be buried in front of you face down to form your starting hoards. The deck then gets placed in the centre of the play area.
During your turn, you start by having a rummage for treasure by drawing the top 2 cards on the deck. You then get to go digging for loot. You select any troll hoard and reveal the top card, following any instructions. I'll get to steal this shiny bit of treasure and add it to my own hoard if I choose to quit there, but I can push on and keep digging. Oh.
The danger of sticking your hands into someone else's junk is that you'll end up touching something you didn't want to. In this case, Paul landed on one of my neatly placed traps. This not only ends his turn, but generally means some bad stuff happens, such as losing all of your hard-earned treasure.
It's not all bad for an enterprising young troll about town. I have still got the loot that I drew from the deck that I can now bury in my hoard to keep it safe. The question is, do you risk putting the big bucks underground knowing that the other trolls can go rooting for it? At the end of the game, the player with the highest gold value in their hoard is the winner. Unfortunately, protecting it with some beefy traps can mean costing you points at the end of the game due to their negative value.
The emerging strategy in UltimateTroll comes from your placement of cards in hoards, as you can add to or dig from any hoard belonging to any player. So you can add a nasty trap card to an opposing player's hoard, knowing that they will incur a large negative effect at the end. The downside to this is that you could potentially safeguard any loot in that hoard. Indeed, that player may choose to dig up their own hoard in order to remove that trap card, knowing full well they will have incurred its negative effects.
Then there's the second guessing and double bluffs. You could place an actual treasure card on someone else's hoard just to make them think you're screwing them over, only to have them waste a turn digging it up.
UltimateTroll is a game which is very simple in mechanics but potentially very deep in scope and strategy. It reminded us most of poker, a game which becomes more about knowing your opponent and their intentions or likely actions rather than the actual cards being played. This means that no small amount of mind games and poorly thought out smack talk will ensue during the course of the game. There's a joke about trolling there somewhere.
The simplicity of the mechanics means that it can be played with a large range of players, including those who are not normally tabletop gamers, or even very young players. The biggest strength of the game is, unfortunately, also its biggest weakness. If you play with someone who's brand new to the game, they won't yet have developed that depth of consideration over their card placement. This can make the game very random in its early stages. Luckily, it's a weakness that's overcome after only a couple of playthroughs, and with regular gaming groups, the depth is potentially unlimited as you start triple and quadruple bluffing each other, assuming you can keep track of it.
The UltimateTroll Kickstarter campaign begins on the 17th of March, so if you like the look of this quirky but well thought out game, follow the link below to pledge.
That's it from us to Skip the Rulebook. If you enjoyed this video, please press like. If you want to hear more from Skip the Rulebook, press subscribe. You can also find out more about us on Facebook, Twitter and skiptherulebook.com.
Join us next time for your chance to dive into that new board game of yours without any of that tedious rule reading.
See you later.